Hey guys, and welcome to the Igloo, and today we're going to be doing a revisit on Unyielding Armor because a lot of people in the comments aren't understanding why this works and how this works. So, we're going to give you a little bit of history about Unyielding Armor. So, in Fallout 4, there was an armor set that was able to give you plus almost every special when you are at low HP. So, they brought it over to Fallout 76. It kind of works near the same way, but people still don't understand because for people that don't come from Fallout 4 and don't come from a Fallout background, will not understand exactly how everything is. Where to find the armor was another great question that I got from the comment section down below. And it is one of the RNG factors in this game. RNG plays to 100%. You can go to any location whatsoever, and you will have an RNG chance to find an RNG piece of anything. It could be a legendary dragon, it can be a Gatling gun, it could be something else. But in order for you to have the maximum amount of result when it comes to this, is you would pretty much farm White Springs, the whole area, and you would nuke that. And you would have the highest probability about getting as many legendaries as humanly possible because it is one of those build areas where it's just like, yeah, it's there. It's meant to work that way, and it's just an easy farm, especially if you have a few perk cards that are going to be accessible. One of those perk cards, when you're farming, is going to be the glowing ones. So what this card does is that it does extra damage to any kind of glowing enemies and glowing ghouls and anything else, especially because you are nuking that specific area. So how it works? How it works is that you literally go to a sliver of your life, and the easiest way to indicate it is to have Nurdrage, okay? Nurdrage is one of these easiest things in order to have. Now, the reason why I don't talk about special when it comes to build is that builds have a variety of things that come into factor when it comes to Fallout games. Now that mutations are in Fallout 76, you also have to accommodate for them as well. So, the first thing you need to do is you're going to need to have Nurdrage. That's one thing that you're going to have as an indication. Now, if you have an explosive weapon, I would recommend Demo Expert, level 5, because that does 100% damage to explosives. But you have to be wary because if you do too much damage in the game, it causes you to lag out because the game is saying, hey, you're cheating, we're going to turn off damage for you, because they don't know how to properly balance their game. So, again, when it comes to builds, we're going to be talking about the armor, the mutations that promote up to 28 per special plus, especially if you have that. Now, if you have your special that is either strength or perception or luck, and you max that out to 15, you'll be able to go even higher on that one category with this Unyielding Armor. Also, the other thing that also scales is when you have extra strength and then you have unyielding pieces, your strength carry weight also scales when you actually trigger this kind of setup. So, if you're wondering why you're able to carry more and you're able to do everything while you're in this min-max build, that is why. Because it scales with special in this category. So, that does not mean that you can equip extra cards. Extra cards cannot be done. Okay, you cannot put like 3, 4, 5 more cards. You cannot do that. The game will not permit that. Whatever you put in your special stays in your special. This only just helps your actual abilities in your special and not your actual perk card layout. Okay, so that's very important when it comes to this. So how it's broken. So I've had weapons that were very broken. I've had for a long time, including the other videos that I've made where I have an explosive shotgun. Now this build has full perks for the shotgun, and I'm able to put it for every single point into that. Then secondly, what I do is that I also have Demo Expert and Grenadier. Grenadier is in Perception, and then you have for Intelligence, which is Demo Expert. Everything works together, and what the shotgun does is that per pellet, it does explosive damage. That's why the shotguns on the subreddit for trading in Fallout 76 are the most valuable pieces compared to the handmade 2-shot. That's also a very expensive one as well, because you're able to have an ultrasight receiver with that as well that you're able to modify, which I do have. It's only just I don't have a handmade legendary, which I haven't been fortunate enough to get it. So there's also how I'm one-shot to be able to be anybody in a PvP situation. Unless you're playing in the high school, you can one-shot any wanted player, and if anybody shoots you in a PvP scenario, you're going to be able to 1 to 2-shot anybody, even in the best power armor whatsoever. So again, PvP is a joke. The other thing is the Scorch Queen. The Scorch Queen does not scale with the damage that is being provided with the explosive weapons. So I would not use explosive weapons to versus the Scorch Queen. And a lot of people can contest to this because it does not scale to that very well. So I would rather recommend to have a plasma minigun, a handmade, any kind of assault rifle that has an ultrasight mod to it. And for the easiest method to kill the queen is that you have everybody with an ultrasight pistol, and if everybody is perked into ultrasight pistols and you have your highest weapon repair, I forget what the perk is called, I have the card, it'll be on screen, and if you have that, you're able to just decimate the queen and just fire away straight into her. And it's really, really, really useful when everybody has a laser, because like fusion cells are really cheap, and having different ammo types to fight the queen can make it so that you can be able to melt her within like half the time, especially if you have a proper team and you nuke it in the proper area. Now if you nuke, you don't need to nuke directly on the Fisher site, and this is just as a little tip before the video is over. You don't need to nuke directly on the Fisher site. As long as the Fisher site is within the bubble, and you would have a slight indicator when it comes to the Fisher site, is that it would like pulsate. And if it's pulsating, that means that Fisher site is inside that area in order for you to trigger that Fisher site event. So it's very easy to do. All you have to do is just get it to the line, and then you're able to set it up. I've done this so many times, and I've seen so many people not nuke Fisher site prime rate because you're able to be outside the radiation zone while fighting the queen. I've done this multiple times. I've server hopped to do this multiple times, just being solo, joining into a squad, and then being like, hey, can you invite me? Yeah, I'm gonna help you kill the queen. And then I do it, and one time I even was like a little bit away from the queen actually dying again by just joining another queue, and it just crashed, and I was just like, no. So again, besides the obvious broken bugs, the Unyielding Armor is probably the best glass cannon build that you can possibly have within Fallout 76. Okay, glass cannon, the definition for the glass cannon is pretty much you are one shot, and you can one shot almost everything but the queen. So I hope you guys like this kind of content, and I know I needed to have a revision on this, but at the same time, it's a lot of work to try and revise this, make sure that everything is laid into accordance. And I just responded to you guys in the comments from the last video that I made, especially for the best min-max build. So again, if you have your own builds with this, any build works with this, because it still does it as long as you trigger the armor and you make sure that you keep between that low level that Nurdrage activates. Okay, that's why this build works. And when the upcoming changes for December 11th or whatever, when we're actually going to be able to change and shift our perk cards back and forth and make sure that we can add more this way and decrease some on one other attribute, that will actually work. So, again, have a good one, guys. Peace.